Hey guys, it's Omer from MMOs.com. Do a quick second look gameplay video here for Neverwinter, a free-to-play action MMORPG developed and published by Perfect World. I spent about 10 to 15 minutes running around checking this game out. Make comments if you guys want to play Neverwinter or just learn more about it. Do check out the full review on MMOs.com on the link below. So let's go and get started. And the reason I'm doing a second look video for this is because I played it recently and I figured I might as well do a little follow-up for it. I made a new character, played a ranger for a bit, and I figured I'd make another video playing my main character, Malfurion. And I'm actually really enjoying the game. It's actually one of the more polished free-to-play games I've played. A good thing right away, it's a Western-developed game. There aren't too many Western-developed free-to-play games that are still relatively recent that had a fairly decent-sized budget. This is made by Cryptic Studios, the same guys that did City of Heroes, and they're part of Perfect World now. Anyway, we're going to hand in our quest in this new zone. And what's really cool about this game too is a lot of the dialogue of the game is voice acted. Like for example, almost all the quests, I'm doing these level 55 quests right now. A lot of the stuff is voice acted, and the production value is really here. I mean, they clearly developed this game with a budget in mind. Plus, it's set in the Forgotten Realms universe. So if anybody likes D&D or the Forgotten Realms content, there's some really great storytelling in Neverwinter. I mean, I think they hired the guy who did Forgotten Realms to do some of the story here too. I mean, there's just a ton of stuff for people to enjoy. For example, I can show you the boons. These are all different campaigns in the game. You can do the Icewind Dale campaign. I actually had Icewind Dale for Baldur's Gate like forever ago on PC. But yeah, I mean, all these campaigns, you can do them in Neverwinter. And you actually get bonuses for doing them as well, like permanent stat bonuses for doing all of those campaigns. So you really want to do all of those if you want to max out your character. It gives you a lot of different ways to, I guess, progress your character, level up and whatnot. The Bounty Master for some more quests. Any bounties in this area for me to kill? Nice, we can do that. And almost all the zones are kind of designed like this. You have a hub. You have basically the town of, and from the town you can basically go to all these different zones, and you can queue up for dungeons and whatnot. But we're right now in Mount Hutnov, which I'm not familiar with in the Forgotten Realms universe. Though I'm not too familiar with the universe anyway. I played the Baldur's Gate games. I played on Neverwinter Nights, and that's really about it. And that was ages ago. But each of these smaller zones have tons of quests in them, and they have their own like almost self-contained stories. And if you're interested in, the game reads the stories to you, which makes it a little more palatable. So almost all the zones are pretty interesting stuff. Definitely some of the better storytelling I've seen in an MMORPG. Plus the fact that it's action combat kind of makes it easier to pick up and play too. Let's go jump down over here, and we gotta kill some enemies in this area. Though if you don't, if you don't want to do some of the main story stuff, there's a lot of other things you can do. What I like the best about the game is the game's foundry system. Maybe not the best, but it's one of the cooler elements of the game. And if you click on, you gotta find the foundry button over there from here, and you can look at the catalog, and these are all player-made missions. These are dungeons, campaigns, stories made by other players, and some of these go into, look how many chapters the story is, and a lot of these are story-driven content too. Some of this is very actiony, others are just parodies of traditional like MMORPG stuff. In my first video, I ran through one of those story missions, which were almost like a parody of being the hero in an MMORPG. So let's go kill these guys over here. We should be able to kill them. Level 56, fairly high level. My gear is not very good though, but we should be good enough. I have a pet behind me called Miribot, and my pet just heals me. Yeah, these are easy enough. They drop plenty of loot. And of course, don't stand in the giant red circles. The combat is fairly fast-paced too. I would say faster paced than stuff like Terra. Oh man. Oh, I did my daily ability over there. Did a big giant damage ability. Misclick for me. And you only have a handful of like item slots, skill slots rather. You can say I have Q, E, R, left, right click, tab, and 1 and 2. There really aren't that many skills you can equip at once. However, the game itself has a ton of different abilities. You can see my, you can find a skill menu in a moment on the C page. You can see my powers. There's a lot more skills in the game that you can possibly equip at once. And you can level up the ones you want, and as you do, they get stronger and stronger. I can't get rank 4 to level 70 though. So, you're almost like your resource bar acts as almost like a resource that's limited. Let's go kill these guys. Are these for my quests? I don't even think so. But let's go kill them anyway. They're looking at me funny. Let's kill these flame spikers. My E attack, my R attack. And once my meter to the left goes up, I click tab and I get giant and I get to kill everything really quickly. There's something oddly satisfying about the combat. It's not too challenging doing the regular PvE content yourself, though when you're doing the dungeons on a little harder difficulties, it can definitely be more challenging. Plus, there's damage meters too. If you can queue up for dungeons, there's a lot of dungeons you can queue up for in the game. If you queue up for those, it does, you can do PvP queues and whatnot over here too. You can see all these dungeon queues, and there's a little PvE charts at the end. So you want to compete against other players, you got to do the maximum possible deeps, and it's definitely possible to wipe on those. And there's PvP and whatnot in the game. Probably one of the only minuses is the game's odd. You have like 3 currencies in the game. You have the in-game gold. You use it to buy potions and various items from NPCs, and then you have you got Astral Diamonds, and then you got Zen, the premium currency. So a bit odd to have multiple different currencies like that. We need to go find the missing ash, and yeah, we need to find the missing ash. So let's go back down over there. Let's get that missing ash. And Astral Diamonds are really the currency you're gonna want. You get those, I believe, by doing dailies. You used to be able to get them from doing crafting stuff, but not so much anymore. This is dungeoneering for that. The game has these odd like profession systems too. I have only level 16 leadership. Basically, when I collect these, you get rewards. You can experience in this game not by killing things always. You can get it by doing these profession quests as well. And these are almost like clicker style gameplays where you send out your dudes to go start a task, and it's an 8-hour queue. And when it's done, you get various rewards. It's definitely a bit odd. And some of the crafting stuff is done like this as well. And you get different like crafting loot by doing these. So it depends on what you want to level up. You know, you can work on it yourself. It's like a mini game or mini like a clicker style game or AFK game built into Neverwinter. Because it's not a big part of the game, it's a bit odd, but it kind of gives you a reason to log in every once in a while too. Talk to that miner, nice. I'm sure that was for my quest because we were able to talk to him. And then we get to kill these guys, nice. And we wreck these guys. I don't think leveling is pretty fast-paced too. So if you make a new character, you can blaze through the content decently quickly. You can really explore the game's nice-looking world. It's one of the only MMORPGs where I kind of care about the lore. I pay attention to all the story stuff up until now on this character, and on the character I made relatively recently. I listed all the story stuff too, and that reminded me how decent and how good the game's story actually was. I mean, if you're looking for like a fully balanced game, the game does have lock boxes. I know that kind of upsets a lot of people. However, PvP and stuff is, not mandatory at all. So even though somebody might be stronger than you, in a game like this, I don't think it's that big of a deal. But obviously, that varies by everybody. To get the nicer mounts, you got to get the keys for the lock boxes and whatnot. And obviously, the really nice mounts and the cool looking gear is going to have low drop chances. But I think the game has great production value, though. I was thoroughly impressed when I made my new character. And really making that new character and playing it kind of made me want to play the game a bit more again. And the game is also out for PS4 and Xbox One now. And I think the console versions are actually more popular than the PC versions. The PC version still gets like over 2,000 players online at any given time, which is pretty great. I mean, after maybe like Path of Exile, Tree of Savior, Terra, like this is one of the most popular MMORPGs currently on Steam. What's that over there? Let's go down there to that waypoint. Use our mount as well, actually. There we go. I got the most basic mount. And all these zones we're in aren't instants. These are persistent zones. Let's go kill these guys too. And again, all these zones have their own little interesting self-contained story. Sometimes it's more overarching. If you're interested in some of the places in Forgotten Realms, you'll bump into a lot of characters and places in Neverwinter. I mean, it's quite a bit different than DDO. It's much more modern too. I'm sure a lot of people still love DDO. I mean, that game's been around for a while. Plus, you have these little mystical fairy dust always kind of pointing you to the right direction for your quests, so it's hard to get lost, which is super nice. I do think it's a polished experience, though. It came out in 2013, so it's not that old yet. I think there's a lot of great ideas in this game, and I kind of wish like other games did the whole player-created content thing, because again, I can't emphasize enough how just cool the player-made content is. Beyond just doing all the tons of in-game story stuff that I guess Cryptic put in the game, these missions are all, some of them are really neat. Like you read this, like these obviously they're not voice acted because players made these missions and they wrote the text for them. Like you're going through a dungeon, you're going through an instance where all the storytelling is done by other players, and they put the traps in, they put the monsters in. It's really cool. So and some of them surprisingly good stories as well. These are only showing the highest rated ones, but there's like 1,000 of player run missions over here, and some of these have a crap ton of ratings. This was played 115,000 times, and this one was 10,000 times, and 200,000 times, and these are all really neat. And people leave their own reviews for these too. I mean, given that that amount of player-made content can just keep coming in, it helps keep the game fresh. Plus, anyone interested in lore, it's a cool way of experiencing almost like fan-written content in more interactive form. Because I don't think everyone wants to read fan fictions for stuff they're interested in, or just it's a nice way to go through it with your own character. Plus, you get rewarded, and the game actually incentivizes you for doing those, because you get there's a daily mission. You run 2 of those every single day, so you get rewarded for doing those every day, and it gives you a reason to try it. Let's go down over here. We'll go the wrong way. I was meant to go that way, but I'm getting distracted following my these guys over here. We're gonna kill these Ashen miners too. We should queue for a dungeon too, so you can see some of that cool content over there. Let's actually queue up right now. after we kill these guys. I have a ton of quests to do in this area. These are like my level quests for my current character. I didn't do any of the campaigns yet. I definitely should go back and do those. You get, again, permanent XP buffs, not XP buffs, stat buffs for doing those. So let's go and click L to see the Welcome to Neverwinter page. From here, you can easily find your queues and stuff. Let's go do a dungeon run. Let's go do a level 50 dungeon, Temple of the Spider. We can do this one too. Let's queue up for all of these. Join selected queues. If I remember correctly, these are fairly fast-paced. And as I said, they are fairly fast-paced. We're in the dungeon already. Definitely quick queues in the game. It will show everyone's damage at the end, so you got to do a little bit of damage, otherwise you'll be embarrassed. The one probably my biggest complaint though, like, is when I made my new character, you can't adjust your character's boob size. You literally cannot. I put a video up for it too called Boob Nerfs, but I guess Perfect World did not want you playing with your character's boobs for whatever reason. You can't make them bigger or smaller. They are locked in place. Maybe you can pay money to get around that. Who knows? But it's definitely a bit odd that they limited that. But I mean, beyond that, it's generally a pretty solid game. I think my brother played it as well. We both enjoyed it. We played it together. And the only negatives are the lockbox stuff, because you literally have to buy the lockbox keys if you want to open that good stuff. But I mean, there used to be a system in place. I think there still is for trading. You can trade the currencies in the game. You can trade Astral Diamonds for Zen. But the currency market is so blown up and it makes no kinds of sense anymore. Like, if you want to buy Zen, you can. If you want to sell Zen, you can sell your Zen for these prices. So about for 500, looks like for about 500 diamonds each, you can buy some Zen. Like you can buy, this guy wants to, he wants to sell this. So there's a currency conversion ratio. 500 diamonds equals 1 Zen. It's pretty impractical to get that much Astral Diamonds, but it is, I guess, theoretically possible to get Zen in game. I actually have, I think, 600 Zen I've gotten entirely just by doing the conversions. But I did it back when it was a lot easier. Everyone's just running past these guys. I did it back when it was easier, when the conversion ratios weren't so insane. The game's economy got messed up after some glitches at launch. But it's obviously much smoother now, but it's very difficult to get Zen without paying. And that's unfortunate. But at least they did try. There is a method for doing it. So we gotta go a bit further in over here. We gotta follow my teammates. They're way further in than I am. Oh, it auto locks to level 50 here too. So it downscaled us a bit. So the dungeons, I guess, auto adjust to that. And we can help our team down over here. Discovered a new campsite. You can heal these campsites by standing in them. Because I don't think that there's not much regen outside combat. You basically have to be near a campsite to get all that regen. Let's go do some damage here. Don't stand in the red, and you'll be good enough. But yeah, if you never played Neverwinter, play it on PC, play it on console, Xbox, or PS4. It's quite nice. It's still being updated too. Yeah, negatives I can think of. Obviously, the game is not going to be for anyone, but I actually like the combat. The combat, it only feels a little bit off sometimes when you try attacking and moving at the same time, because your character has to actually stop to attack. So if you're playing an archer and you try to like move forward and attack, it can feel a little bit awkward, but on my Great Weapon Fighter, it feels much smoother. Obviously, every class is going to be a little bit different. Lord, I think we came at the end of this dungeon almost. Get a little boss over here. Alright, this guy's going down quick. Lord Jeva sucks. Don't stay in the circles, we'll be fine. We're nowhere close to dying anyway. This dungeon's easy peasy. Easy kill. Alright, now we get to go press forward on over there. We gotta pull those levers. And onward we go. But I say this one is definitely worth checking out, honestly. If you never played it, I say give it a try. It may not be for you, but I don't think you'll regret trying it. I think the combat is pretty fun. There aren't really that many MMORPGs with action combat that aren't like Vindictus or Dragon's Nest or DFO, where it has all these instance dungeons, persistent hubs. This is more of a persistent traditional MMORPG with the action combat. And off the top of my head, you got Terra, Blade and Soul, Neverwinter. I know there's more, but most of them do have that, instance dungeons, persistent towns, and this game doesn't. So it's more of a traditional MMORPG. But yeah, I think it's well worth checking out. Definitely, I think one of my favorite free-to-play MMORPGs. But yeah, if you guys want to play Neverwinter or learn more about it, do check out the full review at MMOs.com or the link below. Anyway guys, later.